Good afternoon, friends. I'm Tonya Arnesen, Senior Pastor of Jackson First United Methodist Church, and this is Food for Thought. Today is April 22nd, 2020. I want to tell you a story from my childhood. It was the summer before I began first grade. Our family moved from a small rural town in Kentucky to the great big city of Nashville, Tennessee. Everything in that town was big. Big buses, big wide streets, big shopping centers, big towering skyscrapers, and Daddy took us to a big church, McKendree Methodist Episcopal, right in downtown Nashville. It was a massive building, home to a congregation of nearly 3,000 Methodists. This was a big church, and I was scared big time. Believe it or not, there was a time when I was painfully shy. I grabbed Daddy's hand and held it tight as we made our way through the cavernous halls of the Sunday school wing. Panic gripped my heart as he opened the classroom door, which was marked 5- and 6-year-olds. He introduced me to my new teacher, and I peered cautiously into the room where I saw more than 20 children busily working on a craft. Daddy leaned over and kissed my cheek. "Have fun, Teetlebug," he said, and he disappeared out the door. I wanted to run, find a place to hide until the hour was over. Problem was, I couldn't move. I stood paralyzed by fear, like my feet were glued to the floor. A group of boys, they looked like they were huge boys, and about 8 of them must have smelled my fear. Soon, like wolves descend upon an injured animal, they circled around me and moved in for the kill. New kid, they chanted. The good news is that I didn't wet my pants and really embarrass myself. Remember, I was only 5 at the time. The bad news is I began to cry, and my tears only fueled the boys' cruel jeers. They began sing-songing, cry baby, new kid is a cry baby. And then a miracle happened. From out of nowhere came a tall, knobby-kneed girl with a spray of freckles over her nose. She had straight, dark hair and calm gray eyes. She broke through the circle and stood between me and my accusers, and then demanded, "Leave her alone. She's my friend." Friend? Why, I'd never seen this kid before. But I wasn't going to argue. My legs nearly buckled in relief as she took my hand and led me to her table. "My name is Martha," she said. "You can sit here next to me, and don't worry, those boys won't bother you anymore." And they didn't. Because I was no longer a stranger to the class. I was a friend. Martha and I became very best friends. We were in the same classes at Glendale Elementary School. We had sleepovers every other weekend at least, and our birthdays were only one day apart, the 19th and the 20th of September, so we always spent those days together. We were inseparable. Now, fast forward to 7th grade. My dad came home and announced we were moving to Menominee Falls, Wisconsin, where he'd accepted a new appointment. He was very excited. I was not. I broke the news to Martha that weekend, and we both had a good cry. Then we began, sadly, the agonizing countdown to my final day of departure. As the moving van was on the street being loaded, Martha and her mother knocked on our front door. We shared a tearful goodbye together, and then she pulled a box out of her pocket, beautifully wrapped. I opened it up and found this pendant inside. You see that? Odd, I thought. It looks broken. But then she pulled another box out of her other pocket and pulled out another pendant and held hers right next to mine here. Together, our pendants created a perfect circle with 2 hearts in the middle, and inscribed in the middle of the heart were these words from Genesis chapter 31, verse 49. The Lord watch between me and thee while we are absent one from another. We each put on our pendants and agreed we would not remove them until we were reunited again. And we were 3 years later when my dad moved us back to Nashville to pursue his doctorate degree at Vanderbilt University. During this time of social distancing, all of us are longing to be reunited with beloved friends and family. But we trust the gracious care of God, who is watching over all of us while we are separated from those we love. So let this be our prayer and our word of blessing during this time of separation. The Lord watch between me and thee while we are absent one from another. I hope to see you again tomorrow at noon. Until then, be blessed, be well, and know you are beloved by God and by me. Amen.